Hey everybody, it's Monday and this video is going to be brief, possibly contentious, but I'm hand sewing boss fight stuff. I don't know how to segue into the Patreon thing, so I'm just going to do it. Help support this channel, become a monthly patron, patreon.com/LeannaK. If you appreciate when I do things like this that tend to get me yelled at by over-emotional people who refuse to hear what I'm actually saying. And it's primary season. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Canadian, so I can't vote in the US election. I have, very little direct stake in most of the issues facing Americans right now. I mean, foreign affairs is basically a non-thing nowadays. So, Canadians, it doesn't directly affect Canadians if, Americans change their healthcare system or anything like that. I have some friends who are currently affected by America's immigration and healthcare stuff, but that's a personal thing that doesn't impact my desire to just basically, pardon the baseball metaphor, call balls and strikes as I see them regarding not who someone votes for, but why people vote. And just, just making the facts. And I'm not going to get into specific candidates or anything because I promised I wouldn't do politics on this channel. I am going to tie it in to debates about gaming and how those tend to get really ugly. And I know a lot of people, there are some people who watch this channel who are on the anti-GamerGate side of that shitstorm. There are some people on this channel who are on the pro GamerGate side of that shitstorm. And at the time, I didn't take a side. And so both sides said I was secretly pro the other side, which was ridiculous, but it was amazing how much power that narrative had. Because too many people believe that, believe what is convenient for them so they can dehumanize and attack a person and not see them as a person with just a difference of opinion from them. They have to see them as this evil monster so they can do dehumanizing things to them. And my income has never recovered from what happened to me during the GamerGate thing. And I'm sure there's some people on both sides who are very, very pleased at that. I know there were people who it was a more personal thing for them and they were out to destroy me. I still stand by what I did because no amount of money in the world is worth losing my integrity and not saying what I believe to be true. People who've watched this channel for a while know that when I do occasionally deliberately say provocative things to make people think, I come out and say it. I fully disclose that that's what I'm doing. So when I don't say that, because I do say when that's what I'm doing, you can assume that when I don't come out and say that's what I'm doing, I'm not doing it. No one will ever make me go against what I believe to be true, no matter how hard it is. And that's because of a lot of the things I experienced growing up, a lot of the things I saw growing up. I was fortunate enough to have friends from many, many walks of life. Different races, different religions, different sexual orientations, different countries of origin. There are even people who I think were the world a different place than that it is now would probably have been gender like trans. Maybe they are now. I've lost touch with some of them. But I saw what happened over and over and over again when people just do and say what's easy short term instead of what's right. It never ends well. And, you might you might escape public scrutiny. You might get away with it, but you still have to live with yourself. And a lot of people can't when they've done something they know is wrong. Some people are just complete sociopaths, right? But yeah. But I also saw the real harm that happens when people see something wrong happening in front of them and do nothing. And sometimes you don't have the power to do anything overt. The only thing you can do is after the fact, check in with someone and say, are you okay? You know, I think that what they did to you was wrong and shitty. Sometimes that's the most powerful thing they can do. They found that in some instances of school bullying, the outcomes were better if somebody just, quietly supported the person privately as opposed to just took the bully head on, because there were no open reprisals when it's quiet. But, I saw too many people get torn apart over video games. I myself have been accused of absolutely ludicrous, insane things over video games. I've been called a racist, a transphobe, a homophobe, a femcel, and so on and so forth over video games. Now that's just ridiculous. And the most notable thing about it is that it is ridiculous. But we are hitting peak political season right now. And if 2020 is anything like 2016, this political fight will start cropping up in video games. And it will be very hard. It will feel very personal. A lot of the things that will be said and done, and have already started happening, are going to feel very much like personal attacks. They're going to hit you where it hurts. And this is the reason I'm making the video, is I'm asking you, please, for everyone's sake, please do what's effective. Talk to someone privately. Get all your frustrations out privately. Don't lash out in public, because people just use it to make you and the hobby and gamers in general in the industry just look unnaturally bad. And we've had enough of that. And if you do, I'm not going to get mad at you, okay? I'm just asking you to keep this in mind. Gamers are easy to kick because despite the perception being that gamers are overwhelmingly white and overwhelmingly male, which is not true, it's a stereotype that persists. The majority of the people who report on video games are overwhelmingly white and overwhelmingly male. You can't even say that the people who make video games are overwhelmingly white because of all the Japanese companies, right? So, it's not true, but it's a persistent stereotype, and it makes gamers an easy target for people looking for someone to blame. And always at some point, some politician decides to bring up video games. I sure hope Joe Biden's not the nominee for that reason, because he's one of the absolute worst. Like, historically, Biden is the absolute worst with a record of utterly ignorant, ridiculous statements about gamers and video games. Hello, Momo. So if Biden is the nominee, God help us all, I don't think he's going to be. If I had to put money down, come on, Momo, say hello. Say hi, Momo. Hi, Momo. If I had to put money down right now, I'd bet against Biden. But who knows? Maybe his South Carolina firewall will hold. But like I said, this isn't about politics. This is about people. And, I'm sure discussions will happen on Patreon. We talk about politics on Twitch, and it stays remarkably civil. Like, we debate each other. We debate issues. But it very rarely gets to the point of ad hominem. And And if it does, I kick people. I give them a warning and then I kick them. Because we go back and forth. We're like, oh, come on. We have those discussions on Twitch that people who like each other have over like beers at a pub, which is very nice. I don't always want to talk about politics, but sometimes it happens. And it's like, you know what? All right, fine. If it stays. And sometimes I go, all right, guys, change the subject. And people listen. And I'm really appreciative for that. And so for the people who are participating in that way, that's awesome. Keep that going. That's great. I greatly appreciate that. I'd love if that could extend to things like Twitter and YouTube comments. I am an optimist, but I am also, a realist. I don't expect that to happen. But if we can just keep our space clean, if we can at least stop our house from shitting the bed, then we'll have somewhere to go when things get really crazy. And that's part of the reason that I've been very adamant. I promised I wouldn't talk about politics anymore because it's just not worth it. The Johnny Depp Amber Heard thing was as close as I come. I wasn't even sure if that was over the line. But that, I think, was more of a social issue than a political thing. And this is too. There is no call, no matter what, and operatives on all sides do it. They dehumanize people with whom they have a disagreement. And it's the same thing in gaming. Somebody, you say something about a game, and people will find any sort of identity politics to trash your opinion and trash you and make you seem like an evil person, because then they don't have to listen to you. But that's on them, not you. If they have to dehumanize you so that they can, dismiss your point, that's their bad argument. And I really believe on some level, they know they're doing that. They know they are. Because some of the arguments I've been hearing are just so illogical. They're so emotionally driven and not based on fact. And they're just coming in an argument. Like, I know there's a winning argument. I know there's an argument that will persuade me. But people aren't making it. People are making arguments like, well, he's a racist or she's a racist or she was bad or he was bad. And no. None of these people in the Democratic primaries right now, or, guys like Bill Weld on the Republican side, none of these people are evil people. They're just not. If you actually look at their accomplishments, they are brave and caring and have done a lot for their communities. They are net positives in their communities. And you can disagree with them and think they're wrong without dehumanizing them. And, I don't like it when somebody like, say, Tulsi Gabbard gets a Twitter campaign against her. You can disagree with her without making her out to be some sort of, Russian asset. Painting Elizabeth Warren is evil, or even Michael Bloomberg is evil, or Tom Steyer is evil. Like, people are not evil just because they're super rich, right? Hate to break it to you, but everybody but one person running right now is rich. Maybe not like filthy, stinking Mike Bloomberg rich, but they are rich. They are all millionaires, as Bernie Sanders would say. That doesn't matter. What matters is their policies and their prescriptions. And I'm saying this because anybody tries to bring that to my Twitch, anybody tries to bring that to my Twitter, I'm saying I have no patience for it. Because as much as I do political commentary stuff, and I will say, if you want to disagree with me on one of my FU Network podcasts that is political in nature, no problem, okay? Fair game. Just keep the ad hominem out of it. I do a critical thinking podcast and a women's podcast, and I do one, I just started it, about a Canadian perspective on American politics, but nobody gets called evil on my podcast, with notable exceptions. talking about somebody like Hitler or Mussolini or something like that, right? Documented horrible atrocities, genocide, that kind of thing, right? Because at the end of the day, I don't want to step off that ledge, because I've seen what happens to gamers, and the minute you start playing that game, vulnerable people lose. And because of, let's face it, a lot of it is medical issues. A lot of people play a lot of video games because they have mobility issues or various other reasons that they can't be out and about and social and all that stuff. So they are not privileged people. They have unique challenges. I'm included with my hands. That matters. And, when you're advocating for people who are at a disadvantage, you have to be prepared for that. You can't start swinging all over the place and starting fights, because you're going to lose them. And I care too much about the people that I have interacted with over the last, 5 years now? Holy shit. That reaffirmed my faith in humanity after I saw a lot of people acting really, really badly over the whole GamerGate controversy. And I'm very grateful for that. And I want to pay that forward by not, by giving people a place that they can go and that doesn't follow them. Because I know, as much as, somebody calls you a name doesn't mean it's true. I understand how much it hurts and makes you go, why did you have to go there? When somebody gets that personal, when someone starts accusing you of bigotry over a difference of opinion, I know that feeling of, why did you have to go there? What is wrong with you? Kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? And I want there to be a break from that here. I don't want, so I'm going to make it clear, because I do want to talk more about some of these issues. I am going to cover probably tomorrow, when I can do a little bit more research and get my head around, the revelations that Jordan Peterson has, is struggling with fairly profound mental illness and possibly neurological damage from a benzodiazepine addiction. I've been very critical of Jordan Peterson, and so I want to make sure that I make it clear that I don't believe in kicking someone's down when he's down, and I also think that he's still a human being, even though I disagree with him vehemently. So I am going to cover that, but I wanted to set some ground rules first, so that there's no surprises if I get really tough later, because we're all people, and we all have our strengths, and we all have our weaknesses, and we all have our moral and philosophical failings, and our moral philosophical successes, and so forth. But we are all people. And because we have a common interest in a hobby, even if we don't like the same games, we all love games, we automatically have something in common. And I think that's more important than what political candidate you back. Okay? Because I do think I think we all want the poop to stay out of our houses. We don't want the sewage to back up and have a repeat of what happened in 2014, 2015. We're all tired still from that. A lot of wounds haven't healed from that. And people keep taking shots based on that. And that's just ridiculous. So I just wanted to say this. This video probably won't do very well, but I just wanted to say it because it needs to be said. Okay? Everybody cool? And like I said, I am going to cover, the hot news of the week going forward. But I wanted to predo that. Predo? That's not a word. Because, accordingly. Yeah. I will repeat this tomorrow as well. Twitch is going to be switched on Tuesday. Twitch is going to be during the day because I'm going to see the musical Hamilton for my birthday at night. So Twitch on Tuesday is going to be during the day. Twitch on Thursday is going to be at night instead of the other way around. All right. Okay, so I'll leave it there. Help support this channel. Become a monthly patron. Patreon.com/LeannaK. So I'm a little scattered. I'm thrown from some of the cruelty I've seen on social media over the weekend. Okay, thanks for watching.